Diggs here, trekking up Red Hill in western Colorado. Behind me, hopefully this camera does justice to capture the site, but if you can see behind me, it is Mount Sopris, one of the popular mountains in western Colorado, almost 13,000 feet. Most people are able to trek it up and down in about a day. It's still snow-capped. As you can see, I am kind of at the midpoint of Red Hill, and eventually we'll reach the top. But the purpose of this video is to talk about something that has been discussed in depth, has been implemented in other countries successfully, and it's still to be determined whether it will be a reality in the United States. And that is free college. You see this in Australia, you see this in Scandinavian countries, you see this in other European countries, and where once a person graduates from high school, they have free university education. You know, from the first year up into a doctor's level. And in this country, as you may already know, college tuition is quite costly. Many people would like to go, but sometimes they kind of fall in the cracks, and where they don't qualify regarding the federal financial aid funding requirements. They kind of fall out the cracks, but yet they're not in a financial position where they're still comfortable where they can afford it. Then you also have the case in where many people initially can qualify to start community college, but when they want to go into their third year to get their bachelor's degree or even their master's degree, oftentimes that third year, grants and scholarships don't often cover their full tuition costs, which requires them to take out student loans. And if you're not aware, the student loan debt crisis here is quite astronomical. It's 1.5 trillion last time I've checked, and it's continuing to accelerate. Now in other countries like Scandinavia, Australia, many people are taxed at a higher rate in order to pay for the university education for all the citizens there. Could free college make America great again? It could, or it could not. There are many majors that people study, and where there's not a high income potential upon graduating. You know, you have a liberal arts degree, which may create a lot of flexibility, but it's not concentrated enough, and where someone could make, 60 grand a year, 75 grand a year, 85 grand a year, or a history degree, which may limit a person to just being a teacher. So those are things that needs to be considered to explore whether something like free college in this country specifically could make America great again. You hear that slogan a lot. That was kind of Trump's slogan as he coined. There's a lot of things that probably can make America great again, but it's quite subjective because everyone has different views on how it could make more elements of the country better, which in effect will make the overall climate of the country better for all citizens. Well, what I'm telling you is you can focus on the power of you. And that is yourself being an individual. You have control over your choices. You have control over your decisions. And you may not be able to control the costs of college, but you can make smart decisions. You have options like CLEP, CLEP, DSST courses, and where you can test out of these courses, and you can complete this course faster with no student loan debt. You can complete it in a fraction of the time, and it will cost you a whole lot less. Now, those things are limited. You can often get several degrees at the baccalaureate level, a few at the master's level. But that is something that is definitely worth considering. Another one is, which I have interviewed the founder of this university on my podcast. You can check that out at reachingthefinishline.com/podcast. His name is Shai Reshef, and he is the founder of University of the People, which is in fact the cheapest accredited tuition-free online university. So that's something worth checking out as well. The CLEP and DSCT courses, I talked about that in depth in my book. I actually showed a case study, my first book, Reaching the Finish Line, A Practical Guide to Discovering and Championing You. You can check that out at reachingthefinishline.com. That's my very first book. But those are a few things that you can control to help you reach the finish line. If your finish line is obtaining a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, or even a doctorate degree, as cheaply and as quickly as possible without accruing any student loan debt. It's not about the left or the right. A lot of people put a lot of faith in politicians. Governments has failed the majority for many years consistently. And again, you can put your trust in somebody who may essentially do something completely different, who may not have your best interests. But one person that do has your best interest is yourself. So I recommend you start by taking the first step. That's how you reach the finish line, step by step. If you take life in your own hands, you can make yourself great rather than worrying about making a country as a whole great again. What you do have control over is your decisions. And I want you to reach the finish line. You can start by going to reachingthefinishline.com. And until next time, I hope you're reaching your finish line.